This is a squirrel. His tail is twitching. His left eye is doing something weird. His entire tree is leaning at an angle that feels alarming. But when you ask how he's doing, he smiles, wide, hollow, and says, "Everything's great." He says it like a reflex, like a nut he's learned to swallow whole, no chewing. Sure, one of his branches collapsed last week, and sure, he hasn't slept properly since the full moon panic. But no worries, could be worse. He still has his pile, mostly, and if he says it enough times, maybe it'll feel true. He pins a bark sign to his stump, good vibes. Only another squirrel walks by and says, "You seem tired." He chuckles. "Nope, just extra blessed." Then face plants into a log 2 minutes later, quietly. He calls it optimism. But what it really is fear. Fear that if he lets one bad feeling in, it might never leave. So he builds a wall of nut quotes around himself. You get what you focus on. Choose happiness. Smile through the struggle. Be the nut you want to see in the forest. He repeats them daily, louder when things feel worse, louder still when his tail starts shaking. Today, he wakes up to rain. Cold, gray, disappointing rain. He says, "Rain is a blessing. It's nature's hydration." Then slips in the mud, drops half his nuts, and nearly concusses himself on a rock, still smiling. Because he's not allowed to not smile. That would mean something's wrong, and something being wrong would mean he failed to fix it. And if he can't fix it, what kind of squirrel is he? When he feels anxious, he doesn't talk about it. He buries it, deep, under a rock labeled perspective. When he feels sad, he covers it with gratitude stacking. At least I have acorns. Some squirrels don't even have a tree. My problems aren't real problems. He thinks that's maturity, but really, it's a shutdown, a total system override. Because feeling bad makes him feel guilty, and feeling guilty makes him feel weak. And being weak isn't allowed. His mantra? Other squirrels have it worse. He says it all the time, even when no one asks, especially when no one asks. One day, his friend comes to him, quiet, heavy-eyed, says, "I'm not doing great." The squirrel smiles hard. "Aw, don't say that. You're amazing. Look at everything you have." His friend blinks. "I just needed someone to hear me," they say. Then they walk away. He watches them go, unsure what just happened. He was trying to help, wasn't he? Later that night, he stares at his nut pile. It's massive, neatly stacked, slightly ridiculous, but doesn't feel comforting. Feels like a monument to how well he pretends. He whispers affirmations to himself. "I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm happy." But the more he says it, the less it sounds like him. The smile stays on, but it's starting to ache, and the cracks are showing, not just in the bark, but in the squirrel behind the smile. If you're totally fine, and everything's amazing, and you're definitely not repressing anything, go ahead and like this video, and subscribe. For no reason, just positive vibes, obviously. The next morning, the squirrel wakes up feeling foggy. Not sad, not angry, just muted. His tail doesn't flick right. His eyes feel like static. His paws forget how to grip properly, but he smiles, automatically, like a screensaver. He checks his pile. It's perfect, neatly sorted, labeled by type, date, emotional resonance. Then something odd happens. He sighs, a real sigh, and just like that, his face twitch returns. That little flutter under the eye that says, "Buddy, we're not okay." But he pushes through. He always does. On his way to the clearing, he passes another squirrel. They ask, "How's it going?" He says, "Fantastic." Then drops his entire nut pouch mid-sentence. Nuts scatter everywhere. He laughs too hard, too fast. Says, "Ha ha," the forest provides. Starts picking them up with shaking paws. The other squirrel helps. Gently says, "You don't have to pretend with me." He freezes. Pretend? He tries to protest, but the words jam in his throat. He forces out a chuckle instead. They smile politely and walk on. He stares at the ground. One nut is cracked in half. He stares at it longer than necessary. Later, he sits by the river, alone. A nut falls from a branch above, bounces, lands beside him. He doesn't pick it up. He just watches the ripples in the water. Then, without planning to, he says out loud, "I'm not okay." No one's there, but it feels big, strange, like shouting in a quiet church. He says it again, softer, slower. "I'm not okay." Then, like an avalanche of half-buried emotions, the pressure, the pretending, the constant spinning plates of performance, the smile slips, not off, but slightly. Enough. He doesn't panic. He just sits in it, feels the ache behind his chest, the catch in his throat, the memory of all the times he said, "I'm fine," when he wasn't. And he wonders, what if he had just said the truth? What if he'd told Barry, "Actually, I'm struggling"? What if he'd told that squirrel in the clearing, "Yeah, I'm overwhelmed"? What if he'd stopped measuring his worth by how consistently he could suppress his feelings? But now he understands. Smiling is good, but not if it's the only emotion allowed. He leans back, watches the stars blink on. No affirmations, no forced gratitude, just space. And in that space, something honest grows. The next day, the squirrel doesn't wake up with a mantra. No chirped affirmations, no "today is a gift" pep talks. Just a slow blink and a deep breath. It's oddly quiet in his head. No need to perform wellness, no pressure to radiate joy. Just morning, just a squirrel, just a pile. He stretches without logging it. He doesn't tell anyone it's a gratitude stretch. It's just stretching. He checks his nuts. Some are fine, some are cracked. One is moldy and has a weird smell. He leaves it there, because pretending it's not rotten doesn't make it fresh. Later, a friend asks, "How are you?" And instead of chirping, "Amazing," he pauses, thinks, then says, "Honestly, bit tired, bit messy, but I'm glad to see you." The friend nods. Same. That's it. That's the whole conversation. No solutions, no toxic pep. Just two squirrels, emotionally sunburnt, quietly coexisting. Later, another squirrel talks to him. Really talks. Says they're overwhelmed, tired, can't keep up. Feel like they're drowning under their own expectations. He doesn't say, "Look on the bright side." He doesn't say, "At least you have acorns." He says, "Yeah, that sounds really hard." Then he sits there. Just sits. Not fixing, not redirecting, just listening. They breathe together for a while, and it's enough. Because here's the thing about toxic positivity. It doesn't ask you to feel better. It demands you look better, and then punishes you when you don't. It treats pain like bad manners, discomfort like failure, sadness like a personal flaw. But the squirrel is done with that. He still smiles, but not like a defense shield. He still says nice things, but not to avoid reality. Now, when he feels low, he says so. Not to be dramatic, just accurate. He learns to name things without softening them. This nut is awful. This week is hard. I'm not okay right now, and that's okay. He finds new phrases. That sucks. Want to talk about it? You don't have to be strong today. You can just sit here with me. Quiet is fine. Do more healing than any motivational Bart quote ever did. He even updates his sign. It used to say, "Good vibes only." Now it says, "All feelings welcome." He gets weird looks. A few squirrels avoid him, but others, they come, slowly, quietly. They sit under his weird sign with their weird feelings and their weird piles of grief and joy and everything in between. The squirrel still loves hope, still believes in good days, still wants to grow his pile. But now he knows. Honesty is not the enemy of happiness. It's the root of it. He's not chasing constant sunshine. He's planting things in all kinds of weather. Some days, he's still tempted to fake it, to grin and say, "I'm fine," when he's not. But now he catches it, stops, breathes, rephrases. "I'm figuring it out." And that's enough. At the end of the day, he still gathers, still squirrels. But now, when someone asks how he's doing, he smiles, gently this time, and says, "Depends on the nut." He's still figuring it out. But now he knows he doesn't have to smile through every cracked nut. If that sounds familiar, subscribe. No pressure, just honest squirrels doing their best.